Our chalice lighting this morning is from Jennifer McLaughlin. Even in this time when spring perhaps comes earlier than it should, we find our way toward rejoicing. As the first hint of green peeks through the barren ground, nurtured by the rain of these days. As that little sprig grows into a healthy stem, as that stem grows into a stalk and forms a bud, as that bud slowly opens with each new day to form a yellow daffodil. Let us be like that first hint of green, renewed by the warmth of the sun's rays, wherever and however they find us. Let us be ready to emerge with a new energy, ready to face the day, the hour, the season, the time, even though it has changed. We light this chalice to bring a glimmer of that enduring and transformative warmth into this space made sacred when we come together.
Welcome, everyone, to River Road Unitarian Universalist Congregation. Whether this is your first, 100th, or so many I can't count times here, you are welcome. Today is our monthly Spirit Sunday, where all generations come together to worship in community with one another. In thinking about the monthly theme of transformation, today's service was created to focus on climate justice, how the climate and thus the world is transforming, and how we must transform along with it. The North Carolina Climate Justice Collective offers a framework for climate justice work that has 4 R's: resist, reform, reimagine, and recreate. Our focus today is on the reimagining.
This service was created through a collaboration of our worship team and our Earth Ministry team. The members of the Earth Ministry team have been working tirelessly for decades, and you'll hear a little bit more about that later on. But right now, I'd like to ask the current members of the Earth Ministry team to stand up so we can appreciate you.
New in today's soul work that's in the back of the sanctuary, for anyone who'd like, are some slips of paper that invite you to write or draw about what you dream about, what you can reimagine when you think of the future of our planet. All are welcome at any time to pick up these soul work items, including the pipe cleaners and wiki sticks and coloring, all sorts of things, to help you to be able to pay attention a little better in the service and focus.
As we did last month, we again have carpet squares out front, so we invite any children or adults, if you'd like, to come up anytime during the service and stretch out there. Now, we have a poem to share in the form of a picture book. It is Change Sings by poet and activist Amanda Gorman, with illustrations by Lauren Long. This poem sings with optimism for our personal power to make a difference for a better world. Reading it today is Dre Dispenza.
I can hear change humming in its loudest, proudest song. I don't fear change coming, and so I sing along. I scream with the skies of red and blue streamers. I dream with the cries of tried and true dreamers. I'm a chant that rises and rings. There is hope where my change sings. Though some don't understand it, those windmills of mysteries, I sing with all the planet and all its hills of histories. I hum with 100 hearts, each of us lifting a hand. I use my strengths and my smarts, take a knee to make a stand. I'm as bright as the light each day brings. There's love where my change sings. I show others tolerance, though it may take some courage. I don't make a taller fence, but fight to build a better bridge. I talk not only of distances from where and how we came, but I also walk our differences to show we are the same. I'm a movement that roars and springs. There's a wave where my change sings. Change sings where? There, inside me, because I'm the change I want to see. As I grow, it grows like seeds. I am just what the world needs. You're the voice where freedom rings. You're the love your bright heart brings. We are the waves starting to spring. We are the change we sing. We're what the world is becoming, and we know it won't be long. We all hear change strumming. Won't you sing along?
In doing the work we share for climate justice, for a sustainable Earth, for sustainable and survivable communities on that Earth, we have first to cultivate reimagining. You see, the idea of a different path for people, for the planet, the idea has to happen before the policies and the practices, all the decisions we make might follow. The very real transformational changes only come when first we have the courage to think it is possible to live a different way. In some ways, imagination is the very first and hardest step for change. But the thing about imagination is that it doesn't arise out of nothing. It has influences, things that came before. One might say that in order to reimagine, we have first to remember. This picture you see in front of you is this very place, captured before I was born in this sanctuary around 1973. This slide shows the artistry and the artwork of River Road's second minister, Reverend James Curtis, who in his time here in this room used the creative design of his imagination and the beauty of this space to help us think about our place on this planet, our place as spiritual people. This art Reverend Curtis created reads on that back wall in a script that is simultaneously so 70s and so contemporary, is it not? It says, "Love it or perish." And right there before you, you see a trash can overflowing with the refuse of the middle of this very century and the exact same questionably comfortable chairs you are seated in right now. If indeed we must reimagine in order to make change, and we must remember in order to reimagine in this place, we have had to find ways to tell the story of our role, our responsibility, and our commitment to this earth and the change that makes it survivable over and over again, which means that in our history, in this congregation, in this nation, and in the world, we are guided by so many who have reimagined before, by so many who have reminded us here at River Road and beyond that the way forward can only be found if we dare to think in new and creative ways. And so, as we bless ourselves with the work of reimagining this morning, we are grounding ourselves, first of all, with the deep honor and the gratitude that comes with remembering. Remembering not only those who came before, but those who are right here, right now, providing the solid ground from which our fresh new imaginings might spring. In that spirit, I'm delighted to invite Bruce Davis up, who is one of our dedicated members of the Earth Ministry team, to speak of two River Roaders who over years and in this moment have created that framework from which we might imagine a whole new world.
Good morning. The first person we will recognize is Charlotte Moser. Charlotte is a lifelong Unitarian Universalist. She worked in the environmental field until 2006. At that time, following River Road's first Green Sanctuary accreditation in 2007, Charlotte joined in 2010, and she revived the Environmental Task Force, which is the predecessor to the Green Sanctuary, with a focus on clean energy and clean water justice. Charlotte has designed and taught in the environmental adult education courses here at River Road, participated in county actions, worked with members of other UU congregations, and started the spirituality and nature group known here as SING. Most recently, Charlotte spearheaded RRUC's second reaccreditation as a Green Sanctuary, which occurred in 2022. We're also acknowledging the contributions of Walter Weiss. Walter first joined the Environmental Task Force, now the Earth Ministry, in 2008, when he started the vegetable garden to teach kids here at ROUC. A few years later, he was part of a group that reinvigorated the Environmental Task Force around reducing greenhouse gases to limit global warming. In 2008, Walter started the Montgomery County Faith Alliance for Climate Solutions to organize people whose beliefs in all different faiths that teach them to be active in protecting the earth. Walter also leads retreat workshops, organizes environmental justice work with the UU Mid-Atlantic Network for the Environment, and is currently serving as co-chair of the Earth Ministry.
See, a thing about change makers is that the work they do can feel so inspirational that it can also seem overwhelming. But the thing about change makers among us is that they are not only those visionaries, those people who do the work, who keep on doing the work year after year, decade after decade, but they're our friends, people we laugh with, people we have adventures with, people we wear silly hats with. The change makers are indeed us. In this time, as we reimagine and remember, I also want to lift up the change makers in this world who have influenced us in ways we have only begun to imagine, and who have found ways over history and in this present moment to influence the course of our relationship with the planet in ways we never could have imagined without them. For this part of the service, I'm going to need some help. So if any kids would like, in an orderly fashion, to come, orderly-ish, come join me in sort of a row right here. You see, it's not just the people that we know and we love, like Charlotte and Walter and so many other people, that make a new way where we didn't know there was a way before. There's also activists and allies. Here, you scooch here. Get on this side of me so I won't be in your way. And people across time and history who have made a way. And to help me honor that history and some of these change makers, these children and youth, if you're willing, are going to help me do a fun activity. Well, it's not even that fun. It's like sort of serious, but whatever, bear with me, with this beautiful golden box. A litany. Do you know what a litany is? It's like a list, but like a super special list of people who make a difference. Some of the names we're going to read, you'll know. Some of them you will not. While I invite each of you children to come up one at a time, you're going to take one slip of paper out of this magic golden box, hand it to me, and light a candle for the activist or change maker whose history I will read about. Only one slip of paper at a time, hand it to me, write a candle, and then you can scooch on back to your seats. Each one of these people, read aloud, has a biography that is astonishing and amazing in a different way. Let the many ways they have made a difference settle over you. How did they reimagine the world? How might we? With their example, and in some cases, their ongoing partnership, how can we have the courage, in ways we have only just begun to imagine, to do the same? All right, you're up first. Ready? And go light a candle. I'll read it. Gaylord Nelson. After returning from World War II, he became an activist and politician. As the governor of Wisconsin, he created the Outdoor Recreation Acquisition Program that saved about 1 million acres of parkland. He passed the Wilderness Act, the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, and other environmental landmark legislation, and invented Earth Day. You ready? All right, go ahead, Kailana. Wangari Maathai was an environmental and political activist from Kenya. After studying biology in the U.S., she went to her home country to begin a career in environmental activism. She founded the Green Belt movement, which by the early 21st century had planted 30 million trees, provided jobs, and secured firewood for rural communities. In 2004, she was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. You got it? Jamie Margolin rose to fame in her early teens when she and other environmental activists co-founded Zero Hour, a youth climate action organization and movement. A Colombian-American, Margolin was moved to take action against the climate crisis after experiencing the wildfires in her home state of Washington. In 2008, she and 12 other youths sued the state over those fires. They didn't win, but they went on to garner national attention and yet led dozens of youth climate marches together. Perfect. You got it. All right, get us another one. All right. Light that flame. Rachel Carson is regarded by many as the founder of the modern environmental movement. Born in Pennsylvania, she went to study biology at Johns Hopkins and Woods Hole Marine Biological Laboratory, where a statue of her overlooks the churning seas today. After working for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, she published books that changed the whole world. John Muir. His lifelong passion for hiking began when he hiked 1,000 miles from Indianapolis, Indiana to the Gulf of Mexico in 1867. When an accident temporarily damaged his vision, he vowed to devote himself to seeing the natural world's splendor with every ounce of life left. He co-founded the Sierra Club. Henry David Thoreau was one of the United States' first philosopher, writer, activists, a role that young people ever since have aspired to recreate. In 1845, Thoreau set to live out alone in a small house he built on the shores of Walden Pond in Massachusetts. The 2 years he spent living a life of utter simplicity were the inspiration for Walden, A Life in the Woods, a meditation on nature that continues to inspire environmentalists and the world every day. All right, what we got? George Washington Carver was enslaved at his birth and went on to become one of the most prominent scientists of the 20th century. He was an inventor known for making dyes, plastics, fuel, and more out of a humble peanut. He was a champion of crop rotation, and planting those diverse crops allowed farmers to bring nutrients back to the soil. What do we have? Aldo Leopold is considered by some to be the godfather of wilderness conservation and modern ecologists. He worked for the U.S. Foreign Service and adopted the first truly holistic approach to wilderness management. He once wrote, "A thing is right when it tends to preserve the integrity and stability and beauty of the whole. It is wrong when it tends otherwise." There we go. Winona LaDuke is a Harvard-educated Ojibwe tribe member who has dedicated her life to the issues of climate change, Native American land rights, and environmental justice. She founded the Indigenous Women's Network and Honor the Earth, which played an integral role in the 2016 Dakota Access Pipeline protests. She ran, albeit unsuccessfully, for vice president twice. Penny Wetton was an Australian climatologist who raised a flag about the climate crisis as early as 1990. That year, she was recruited by her home country in Australia to co-author several assessment reports for the United Nations, one of which won a Nobel Peace Prize in 2017. I need two more. Anybody want to do two more? Come on up. We got all the help we need. Hilda Lucia Solis is a politician who has championed environmental causes while on the Committee for Energy and Commerce, the Committee on Natural Resources, and the Select Committee on Energy Independence. In 2009, under the Barack Obama administration, she became the first Latina woman to serve in the United States Senate. Chico Mendes is best known for his efforts to save the rainforests of his home in Brazil from logging and ranching activities. Alarmed at the devastation of the Amazon, he helped to ignite international support for its preservation. His activism drew the ire of powerful ranching and timber interests, and he was murdered by cattle ranchers at the age of merely 44. Julia Butterfly Hill. After a nearly fatal auto accident in 1996, Julia dedicated her life to environmental causes. For 2 years, Hill lived in the branches of an ancient redwood tree, which she named Luna, in Northern California, to save that single tree from being cut down. We know, of course, that not every name of those who have reimagined a way forward could be listed. We know, of course, that there are those who have inspired you that you carry in your hearts. We know that there are those in your own life who have sparked a reimagination of your relationship with this earth. And so in this time, briefly together, I want to invite you verbally, as you're moved, call out the names of all those who have made a way for you. Greta Thunberg? Anyone else? For your dad? For Jane Goodall? Al Gore? Anybody else going to be as brave as the kids and name some more out loud? Yeah, amen. For all these. Michael Moore. One more. Rosa Parks. For those who imagined a new way. For those who imagine it still. Amen. We come into this place with joys and concerns, with laughter and tears barely under the surface. We come into this place carrying our whole lives and everything that entails. Not asked to be perfect, but at least to be honest. And in this time, I want to remind you that you're welcome to light candles for those who made a way for you and for the joys and concerns you carry in your hearts. We know today that even as we prepare to remember the lives and the stories of so many among us we have lost, we also carry this world. We carry the looming and present reality of political change in this country. We carry the looming and present reality of peace and its profound absence, the yearning for a world in which none may go hungry, a world in which the bombs might indeed stop falling, a world in which we together make a way out of no way. Our meditation today is from Kaya Roman, and I want to invite you to take as comfortable a seat as you can for these words of meditation. With all the motion, with all the movement, with every sacred sound of our being together, find a comfortable way to sit, a place in which you are supported. In this sanctuary, in this place, we are connected to a literal outgrowth of the natural world. We are growing still among and between one another. If you'd like to rest your eyes on the natural world right outside our windows, the world still touched by last night's rain, feel free to do so. If you'd like to close your eyes, consider perhaps the grain of the wood beneath your own feet, the fact that it was grown, not made, bequeathed from creation, not formed by human hands. Shift your focus, if you might, beyond this small space, outward to this whole earth. Consider that everything you experience, love, and feel grateful for is made possible by the incredible planet that sustained you, the air you breathe this moment, the water you drink, the food you eat, the materials that build your home and shelter you in every storm. Take this moment. Take this silence stolen from the midst of the cacophony to silently thank the earth for all that you appreciate in your life. Expand that appreciation out to all that exists harmoniously, simultaneously alongside you on this planet. Healing begins with connection. Connection is made clear when we are grateful. So today, let us be grateful for all that grows and changes, for all that sustains and supports, for this earth and the entanglement of our whole being with its thriving today and every day. Amen. If we are to be stewards of our earth, to love it lest indeed it perish, we are also called to be stewards of one another, of the people and the places that make the biggest difference for us. And being a steward doesn't always mean being serious. It can mean having a great time playing and being creative as we imagine a new world. In that spirit, I'd like to invite forward Josh Moore, who can talk a little bit more about this year's stewardship campaign, about the opportunities to reimagine even as we play and grow together.
Good morning, everyone. I want to start off, first of all, with a thank you. So far through this campaign, we have received 96 pledges and have so far raised $492,000. And we are more than 50% of the way to our goal halfway through the campaign. This year, our focus for the campaign is on participation. In addition to a pledge amount goal, we also have a participation goal of receiving 325 pledges. If you'll see, the next slide coming up will be a chart of the pledges we've received in recent campaigns. Before the pandemic, we received about 350 pledges, but the number of pledges has continued to decrease in the ongoing years. So our goal this year, participation-wise, is to bounce that number back up to reflect our commitment to our community. The 325 pledge number is a 15% increase from last year. So while a jump from 282 to 325 pledges may seem significant, it's really not that big of a jump. We have 524 members and 900 friends in our community, so we firmly believe that this challenge is achievable, and it's going to unlock an additional matching gift that has been offered by members who love a challenge. So please pledge today, whether it's at the table, online, on your phone, in person, to help us unlock this additional money. Speaking of fun, one of the things that we are trying this year is we are going to sponsor a trivia game night for this year's all-ages game night this evening. And in the spirit of that game night, we're going to do a little trivia game right now. You've probably noticed there are posters around the building with different little trivia facts about River Road. So in that spirit, this jar of jelly beans.
I'm going to Vanna White it for you.
There you go. Represents Reverend Nancy, everyone. It represents a number of kids in our RE program this year. And so in order to figure out what that number is, we're going to have a little congregation participation. So if you would like to participate, we'd either like you to stand or raise your hand when you have a number in mind for how many kids you think participate in our RE program. And this is a number that's posted around the building, so it's not a secret. All right, ready? If you have guessed 70 or less, please put your hand down or please sit down. If you guessed 80 or less, please put your hand down or sit down. If you guessed 90 or less, please put your hand down or sit down. If you guessed over 110, put your hand down. If you guessed between 100 and 110, please stand up. If you guessed 109, no, we're not done. Stand up. Stand up. You're in the game. There's a prize. There is a prize. We have to figure out who wins. If you guessed 109, sit down. If you guessed 108, sit down. If you guessed 104, sit down. And I see we have 3 people standing. 4 people, sorry, okay. Walter, what number do you have? 105. All right, that's the answer. What's your number? 110, okay. Bailey? All right, and then who's the last person? What's your number? 103, thank you. 105 is the correct number, so we have 2 winners. We have Bailey and Walter. So there's going to be more trivia fun tonight at the game night. We are actually hosting a trivia scavenger hunt based upon all these posters hanging up around the building. So we will have more prizes, and we hope you will attend and come out and support each other in the campaign. And thank you very much.
I gave it to Bailey because Walter already got a prize, our unceasing affirmation. We together have used the next song that we'll hear to reimagine our stewardship campaign in years past, and this year invite us to use this inspiration familiar to so many to reimagine what it takes to build a survivable relationship to our planet. With an incredible opportunity to hear a multi-generational choir, I invite you to give as you are willing and able to indeed make your pledges online or to let us know by email and to light candles for what remains on your heart in this time. Please give as you are willing and able.
Good morning, fellow consumers. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. We are all consumers. Say it with me. We are all consumers. Consume means to eat or drink. It means to completely destroy, like when a fire consumes a building. It can mean to use up something. It can mean to buy goods, buy services. And it can mean a feeling that completely fills your mind and heart. There's some kind of consumption that we all have to do. We all have to eat and drink, right? It's one of the great pleasures of life. And we all need to use resources, and we all need to buy things now and then. But the question for us to imagine today is what kind of consumers we want to be. I have a poem to get us started, of course, and this poem reuses and recycles from the family musician Tom Chapin and his lyricist John Forster, and also some of the OG Earth protectors, Dr. Zeus and the Lorax. Now, everybody picture yourself in your favorite store, brick and mortar or online, and imagine you're shopping. When you stand in the store wanting more and more new toys, new books, new stuff, and it's hard to choose what you'll actually use, and what if you don't have enough? When you feel, I need that brand new Sneed, and Amazon's a click away, do you ever ponder the energy squandered to deliver it the very next day? Everything does not have to be new. What if you could find that new thing used? Because the water, land, and air, these are things we have to share. Someone could have used it before you. And when you've had that Sneed that you really did need, and you've used and read and played it, it's been a good run, but now you're done, should you keep or trash? Donate it. Everything does not have to be new. Someone else could use it after you, because the water, land, and air, these are things we've got to share. Someone ought to use it after you. And that's what we're going to practice today. Members of the Earth Ministry are going to bring these shopping carts right up the ramp into the front of the room. I'm going to be the first one to add some of my used things to the cart. And if you also brought used books, used toys, used games that you are going to share at our free, green, reuse, recycle, don't buy anything new unless you have to store, which you'll be able to visit at the coffee hour in the fellowship hall. Come on up, folks.
So cool. You can see all the things that we are keeping out of landfills. Yay. And they will be in Fellowship Hall, so if you brought something, you can come to Fellowship Hall after the service and choose something new to you. All right, now we're going to try something new. We're going to create a word cloud of all the good ideas that you've come up with today during this worship service. The question for you to think about is this. In one word, I think you might be able to do 2 words, 1 or 2 words. When you think about the world we dream about, what are you sure is there? What is absolutely in the world you're dreaming about? And we should have a slide pretty soon to give you some instructions. There we go. So on your phones, you can go ahead and pull out your phone and go to menti.com. Oh, speaking of. And then it'll ask you to enter a code, and that code is 4508-9788. You'll be able to enter your word and then look around you and see if there's anyone without a phone, especially some of our kids don't have phones yet, and they might want to enter a word on your phone as well. And some people, believe it or not, don't bring their phones everywhere, and they might need that assistance too. So go ahead and start inputting. And now we'll see, oh my goodness, here we go. Here's our word cloud being created in real time. As you add words, they come up on the screen. If more than one person enters a word, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Peace, love, and trees. Awesome. So many amazing ideas. Let's take them forwards. I'll put this word cloud as it's created. You can keep adding words to it, and I will print it and put it in the e-weekly and in the family news so you can enjoy it. Thank you.
everything we do. And this morning, I want to thank everybody who made today's service possible. Of course, this multi-generational choir that I swear, did you just rehearse it together for the first time this morning? Yeah, so that's remarkable. All of our singers and musicians, my unofficial intern, Dre Dispenza, who was so remarkable on that story and also dressed in an outfit to match me today. Our tech team, we have Danny, Ajay, and Jeff Hollingsworth doing heroic labor today. There were 8 different slide decks that were a part of today's service, including that word cloud. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, tech team. All the things that we talk about here are really ways that we can inform how we want to be in the world. And there are all kinds of ways to connect with the work and the values and the commitments of this place. First of all, go shop in the free store today in Fellowship Hall. All those things we kept out of landfills are for us to take home and enjoy. Also, Shelter Week. This is maybe our most important announcement right now. Shelter Week starts on March 17th, lasts through March 22nd. This is our congregation's 36th year of providing all of the food and supplies for the Interfaith Works Women's Shelter in Rockville, and we do still need volunteers. March 17th will be upon us fast. Shelter Week is a perfect way to get started in volunteering in the congregation. It is quick, it is so rewarding. You get to know that what you do makes a profound difference right away, and there are so many different ways you can help. You can sign up right now to prepare an entree, or you don't have that and you make some vegetables, no time to cook. You can also volunteer to help serve the dinner at the shelter, which is in fact the best food job of all, or to transport the food there. You can buy items while you're at the grocery store to help supplement what we're offering, cleaning products, Tide, all the things that you can imagine. Folks need those. There's a table set up near the refreshments in the fellowship hall where you can sign up right now, and our co-chairs will answer any questions. Or if you need to check your calendar and ponder when you have time to cook those vegetables, you can go home, check it out, and sign up online. There is always information in the e-weekly. Our community does indeed need us, and we hope that you'll register now. Also, Actions for Justice is meeting today. This is our task force, our team that is working on Get Out the Vote efforts, that is working on everything that helps to undergird the strength of our democracy. They'll be meeting today at 11:30 in Room 32. You can join them to find out how you can get out the vote and sign up to get on board for all the activities that we are gearing up toward in the coming months. I also want to lift up that Reverend Amanda is preaching at the Riderwood Retirement Village on Thursday, March 21st. She and I together are working to have a stronger presence there in our retirement communities here in the county so that all of us in the interfaith community and River Roaders near and far can take a little bit of this place out into the world. Tonight's game night is indeed sponsored by the Financial Stewardship Committee. You can come out from 5 to 9 for games. Bring a potluck. It'll be up in the fireside room, and there will be a special scavenger hunt. And Sunday, March 17th, our broad-based interfaith community organizing network, of which we are an integral part, AIM, is having an action with local organizations and Montgomery County executives and Montgomery County council members to push for universal pre-K right here in Montgomery County. I hope you'll sign up. I hope you'll join us. You can find out more. That, I think, is all of the announcements, which leaves only the sacred work of taking this light we have kindled out into a waiting world, so in need always of some illumination. And so, may the truths that make us free, the love that casts out fear, and the hope that never dies guide us and those we love and those we do not love forward together till the day spring breaks and all the shadows flee away. Amen.